Let me ask you this question. I think you were talking to Oprah, and you were talking very insightfully about your life, your parents, and all of that. And she said to you, why didn't you, you're a smart guy, why didn't you have those insights then? And your answer was one word, ego. Talk about that.
Well, I mean, she also said, I was surprised, she said, why don't you just stop drinking? Alcoholism is a brain disease. You can't stop.
Right.
Like if you tried to alter your brain today, you couldn't. You can change your feelings, but you can't alter the receptors in your brain. So it's a disease. Let's get that out of the way. I had a big ego, and the problem with the ego is that, as you know, no, the problem with the ego is that the ego lies to you, and it says, sure, Pat, you can be bigger. Pat, you want more. Pat, get more. Pat, get more at any price. And I did. I've been very blessed with a tremendous, nobody's ever going to have a career like this because it's just changed. It's not because I was so great. But my ego kept me going, and grandiosity, which is a word I use in the book a lot, kept me thinking that I was right. Alcoholics lie to themselves. And the biggest lie they tell is, you need a drink to help you feel better. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I'm trying to let people know, and I've been all over, you've seen, I've been all over the country, everywhere, that you can't let your ego talk to you. There are no voices in your head, because those voices you put in your head. You know, the Dalai Lama once said that, someone asked him, and I won't say it was me, but someone asked him, could have been me, what he did with all the people that killed his family and the millions of people in his, you know, around him. And he said, I put them in my head in a prison, and one day I gave them the key and I opened the door and let them go. And
have you been able to do that?
Yes. And this is a different Pat O'Brien you're talking to. I have freedom from that. I have no secrets because of that book. And it's very, very, you know, eternal vigilance is the price of liberty, and I keep at it.
Was there ever a moment where it got all to be too much? You've been in rehab a few times, you've been publicly humiliated, all of that, where you said, maybe the public life really isn't for me. Maybe I'd be better off getting away from this stuff. There's an addiction to the camera. There's an addiction to being loved.
I mean, we're in the business of, where are the girls?
They're here.
They walk
around
out.
the building. Yeah.
We're in the business of needing to have strangers love us. That's just the way this business is. Mm-hmm. We wake up and go to bed, maybe you don't, but you know you do, wondering if it was a good show and if strangers love us. What was the question?
The question was, why didn't you at some point perhaps think this public life is wrong for Pat O'Brien?
Well, I did. You know, I kept going and going and going, and they kept supporting me, enabling me, really. And I don't do much else. I can tap dance, not much of a call for that. The one thing I do well is I'm a great father. I've done that well.
And that's been very important to you. Also, by the way, let me mention in the South Carolina Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which you all visit.
Yeah, South Dakota.
South Dakota, what did I say, South Carolina?
Yeah,
South Dakota, because you were in the band.
Dale Gregory and the Shouters. I'm in it twice, by the way.
Twice.
But, you know, at some point...
who else is in the South Dakota Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
Who else matters?
Okay, go on.
My other band is in there, too. But, you know, at some point I took, you know, and I want everybody to be able to take a look at themselves. On my last day, Steve, at my own house in Nantucket, I drank, the number gets bigger every time I say this, but it was over a case of wine in one day. And thanks to people that you know and some celebrities who are in the program, they got a hold of me and talked me out of it. But I was this far from, I was pretty much dead. And they medevaced me to Hazleton, and that's where I got sober. You know how I got sober? Is that I finally realized, and I talk about this in the book, that my life is very much like Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz. And that all along, to your question, I could have gone home. Mm-hmm. And, you know, Dorothy went through all the poppy fields and the trees and the scary stuff and everything. And at the very end of the day, Frank Baum, who's from South Dakota, wrote the book, and she found out she could go home. And that's what I did. I found out that nothing else matters but who I think of myself. And now I don't care what other people think of me, because that was a problem. And I'm not working for Linda Bell Blue anymore, because that was a problem. But at the very end, they were all my problem.